If you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If you're happy and you know it, do a happy dance. If you're happy and you know it, then you really ought to show it. If you're happy and you know it, are you telling the world how happy you are? Interesting question today, because I've got this funny voice, and everybody I've spoken to today has said to me, Rowie, are you sick? And of course, I'm not sick. And if I was sick, I still wouldn't tell anybody that I was sick. First of all, I'm not going to tell myself that I'm sick, because the words that I tell myself have a major effect on my brain. Have you noticed? You too. If you say I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm having a fat day, guess what we're going to have? We're going to feel sick, we're going to feel tired, we're going to have a fat day, and life's going to be pretty crappy. Do we understand the power of our words? And if we use negative words, what hope have we got of having a positive day? Now, that's from my own headspace. So whenever I'm talking to myself, I always use positive words. I say positive things. I always look on the bright side. Always look for the outcome that's going to be a solution-finding outcome. When I talk to other people, I think it's just as important, because I want to add value to the word. How about you? Everything you say, every text you send, every email you send, everything you post on social media, have you ever thought to yourself, I really want to screw up people's day. I want to make them miserable, grumpy, ruin their day, and dump a big pile of crap onto their day? I'm pretty sure the answer to that question is no. Well, I hope it's no. None of us want to take value away from somebody else's life, but I think we do. Let's consider how often somebody says to you, not too bad, I'm tired, I'm stressed, I've got a terrible job, I hate my partner, my kids are driving me crazy. All these negative things that we say. One, it doesn't add value to our own brain, and we can't fix it if we're just moaning and whining about it. And the only way to fix something is to find the solution, not to talk about the problem. So what if consciously, and I think we have to do it consciously, because is it possible that we've got into the habit of using negative words and negative statements? I'll use something as simple as, how are you today? Somebody says, not too bad. Well, that's bad, but not too bad. There's nothing positive about that. One of the interesting things in Australia and New Zealand that people say is no problem. Just think about those two words. No is a negative and problem is a negative, and then you put the two of them together and you've got a double negative. I'm not sure that we do it on purpose, a double negative, but why are we in the habit of talking like that? What if we got out of the habit of that and created some positive language that, what if you had a reputation of the person that every time you open your mouth, you had something positive to say rather than negative? I had a really interesting conversation with one of my students, and he shared that in a small town where he's living, there's a bit of gossip going around. And somebody came to him and said, oh, did you hear about, and what do you think about? And his great response was, that would be none of my business. It's easy to get involved in gossip and criticism and negativity, but what if you just say, that would be none of my business? My business is not negativity, my business is positivity. So I was really proud of that. The next thing that I always add in, though, is if you gossip to me, that means you'll probably gossip about me. That makes you a gossip. So let's converse about that. I don't want any form of negativity in my life. And people go, oh, Rowie, you and your happy, rah-rah, happy stuff all the time. You can't be positive all the time. Well, what's the alternative? Why would I choose to be negative? Why would you choose to be negative? Why would we choose it? If we've got a choice between saying a happy word and a nasty word, if we've got a choice between providing a solution versus creating more of a problem, which do we want to do? And I think if we're conscious about it, and this is my request, please, because we've got so many grumpy, negative, nasty, miserable people in the world, and it seems that they're getting worse. What if we were the injection? What if we were the happy rah-rah injection of happiness that got them to think differently? It's one of those things when you get a change of mindset. If somebody says to me, for example, this is an interesting one. People say, I've just broken up with my partner, I'm getting a divorce. And I always say, yay, that's awesome. You should see the change of face, because most people, when they share that news with you, it's about, perhaps it's looking for sympathy, perhaps it's, I'm really sad, can you please, give me a cuddle? Fair enough. But if you can look at that from a logical situation, if you have a breakup, one of those people wasn't happy. So if it was you, congratulations, because you're the hell out of there. If it was the other person, surely you wouldn't want them to stay with you if they're not happy. So this is now a learn from, grow from situation. I love that expression. There's no winning and losing, there's just winning and learning. We don't lose from any situation unless we choose to. So whatever negative thing happens, could we turn it into a positive? And even better, could we have the reputation of the person who turns it into a positive? Wouldn't that be awesome? So when somebody says to you, how are you? There's two things. One is, how can I add value rather than detract value? Why would you tell somebody how you are if you're not good? Because it's not going to add value to your mindset, because you're telling yourself again, I'm sick, I'm tired, I'm stressed. It's not going to help them, because why would they want to know? And interestingly, why do we share our challenges with people who can't provide us with a solution? So if I'm sick, you go to the doctor. If your car's broken, you go to the mechanic. If you're having relationship challenges, you either talk to the person you're having a challenge with, or you go to a relationship coach. But we seem to share our love around. We seem to share our crappiness around with other people and think that they can help us. Can they? Do they actually want to? When you ask somebody, how are you, and they tell you a big long list of terrible things that are going on in their life, are you glad that you asked? Even if you think you can help, can you really? Sometimes it's about, I just want to get it off my chest and I feel better now. But do you? Because ultimately the only way to feel better is to provide a solution, is it not? There's a big argument there between men and women, because women just want to talk and men want to provide the solution. See, that's the logical part of that. When you have a solution, you can now learn from the situation and grow and move on. How awesome's that? So the quicker we can get there, the better. Another great example of that is if you watch one of those crazy funniest home video shows where terrible things happen to people and we laugh at them, and it's not very funny for the person that's happening to at the time, but there comes a time when even the person that had the crash on their motorcycle, or they fell out of a tree, one day they'll look at that film and laugh at it as well. And it's been suggested by the experts, if you want to have a mentally tough headspace, is the quicker you can get to the point where you can laugh about it. So whether you're sick or tired or stressed or miserable or grumpy or broke or got a terrible relationship or any of those things, the quicker you can laugh about it. And should we look for ways to laugh about it? It's one of the reasons why I love comedy. I love people who can turn a negative into something funny. And isn't it awesome that there's always somebody? There's always somebody, whether it's in a movie or in a conversation at work, or you're with a group of people, there's always somebody who's got that really good sarcastic sense of humour that can turn any negative into something really funny. And the beautiful thing about that is when you're laughing, your headspace changes neurochemically. You literally have different chemistry in your body when you You have different chemistry in your brain and your body when you're laughing, of course. When you're in a negative headspace, when you've got cortisol, epinephrine, adrenaline, stress pumping through your body needs to fight or flight. So you need to go for a sprint or you need to punch a bag. That's a really good thing to do. Rather than whinge, moan and complain about what's going on in your life, could it be a really good idea to get a boxing bag, sprint on the spot, go for a run, do something really physically active? And I'm not talking about exercise now. I'm talking about get really puffed or lift something really heavy, or a combination of both, to disperse those negative, they're not necessarily negative chemicals, but they're certainly stress chemicals. So epinephrine, adrenaline and cortisol are designed to fight and flight. After you've foughted and flighted, how's that? After you've had a punch the bag, or you've got puffed, or you've lifted heavy, or both, now your brain changes and you fill up with dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin if you're with other people, endorphins and brain-derived neurotropic factor, which are all happy chemistry. They make you feel good. So instead of dumping our shit onto people, instead of dumping our stuff onto people, how about we get puffed, lift heavy, get rid of the stress out of our body, and then consciously become deliverers of happy words, happy information, happy stories, solutions. I think as a parent, a teacher, a coach, and I certainly believe this as an exercise professional, I have a responsibility to add positivity into my world, not take positivity out of it. It would be very easy to whinge, moan and complain about a lot of things, because there's a lot of crappy things going on in the world. But we as humans have a choice of what we look at, how we look at it, and how we could turn it into something positive. And I always ask this question: every terrible thing that's ever happened to you, and if you were to think about it, every horrible, terrible thing, if you are here today and alive, that thing has made you a better person. Is that possible? Now, if you were negative, you could say, no, it's made me bitter and twisted. But there's a great question. Has that been a choice? Have you become bitter and twisted because you've chosen to become bitter and twisted? Could you choose to learn and grow from the situation? Remember, no winning and losing, just winning and learning. And what can I learn from this? Doesn't matter what happens, what can I learn from it? And it's interesting because I'll share again today with this funny voice that I've got. When people say, are you sick? Well, of course I'm not going to say I'm sick, even if I am and I'm not. But if I tell myself I'm sick, I'm going to get worse. If I tell myself I feel fantastic, people say, Rowie, you shouldn't lie to yourself. No, I'm telling the truth in advance. Because I will, even if I'm not feeling good now, I will in the future. And the quicker that I get from I feel crappy to I feel fantastic in my own headspace, the quicker I'm going to feel better anyway. So how about we choose to be positive, to think positive, to act positive, to say positive words? And is that a choice? So many people share with me, I can't be happy, it's too hard. Well, what if you were forced to? What if somebody held a gun to your head and said, we're going to kill you if you don't be happy? I know that's a very extreme example, but I'm almost begging, because so many people, and the reason I'm begging is we've got so many kids in our world now who are at the psychologist because they're unhappy. They're on antidepressant drugs because they're unhappy. They think it's normal to talk negatively. They think it's normal to talk about being sick and tired and stressed and miserable and hating my job and all of that stuff. And I don't want our kids to think that that's normal. I want our kids to love their life, to be happy every day, and to really enjoy every single experience. Good or bad, can we learn from it? Of course, the answer is yes. So here's a choice, happy human. Could you inform your face and be a happy person? Could you use positive words? Could you choose to say positive things? Could you choose to type positive things, text positive things, post positive things on social media? And I really hope that the answer is yes, because I think that the world needs you to be happy too. Woohoo!